Okay, for assignment number 4, we're going to use formulas again and do quite a few formulas. First thing you want to do is your titles again. So increase the font size of those, make them bold, and center them, merge and center across the whole, all the columns that you need for all the data. So do that first. Next, we are going to change this data a little bit. We're going to sort it. We're going to do these formulas. So the first thing we want to do, first of all, we've got some headings here that don't fit in the column widths. So we need to change the column widths. So if, let's see, let's do federal tax, so that one looks okay. Social Security, I can either click and drag between G and H, or I can double click and it resizes it for me. So when you see everything there, that's good. We also want to, let's do the text wrap inside the cell as well, especially on this one. So if I double click this and I click right before security and do an Alt Enter, forces it to go down to the next line. Then I hit Enter, and that works. Maybe federal tax as well. Double click on it, Alt Enter, and hit Enter. You can do that on others if we want. That's probably good for now. Okay, so we need to look at the data we have here and figure out what we're doing. So we've got names, about 15 different names, hours that they've worked, and the hourly rate. So what we want to do, so this is GAP's payroll for their workers. So during the week they've worked this many hours, they made this much per hour. So you should be able to figure out the formula to figure that out, to figure out their gross pay, which means all the money that they made. And then we'll take out tax, 2 different types of tax, and get a net pay, what they take home from what they make minus the taxes. So first of all, gross pay. If Ivana here worked 40 hours and her hourly rate was $13.25 an hour, we need to multiply those. So let's do a formula. Always starts with equals, and we're just going to click on the cell here, C5, and multiply, Shift 8 on the keyboard, and then click the hourly rate cell, and then I'll hit Enter, and it gives me the gross pay. So she made $530 that week. Rather than doing that formula or creating that formula for all of them, I will just use the fill handle, click and drag it in the corner all the way down, and it gives me the formula for each person. Now this is just a number right now, so we need to give it a currency format. So I'm going to do that on column C first, change it to currency. Then I'm going to skip column D because that's the hourly rate. Those are just numbers. They should stay numbers. Now gross pay all the way over to net pay. These are all dollar amounts. So I'm going to select all of them. Even though I don't have numbers yet in all of them, I can change the format and it will wait for me to add something in there, and then it will show up as dollars. So let's do federal tax now. In the instructions it says federal tax, the tax rate is 25% of gross pay. And so whatever we made, the federal government takes out 25% in this example. So we're going to make another formula, equals, and I'm going to take gross pay and multiply it again, Shift 8, by the tax rate, which is 25%. So I could either put 25% in there, because Excel is pretty smart and it recognizes that it's a percent. But I like to be correct on the numbers, so I'm going to move the decimal place 2 places to the left, and it's going to be 0.25. That's 25%. So if I hit Enter, $132.50 is 25% of 530. So that's the tax that Ivana would have to pay. So to get that formula down to the rest, I'm going to use the fill handle, pull that down to the others, and then go on to Social Security tax. Now the instructions say the Social Security tax rate is 6.75% of gross pay, not of federal tax, but of gross pay. So we're going to skip that column. So let's do another formula, equals, going to click on gross pay, and take or multiply it by 6.75%, which if I move the decimal place twice to the left, it would be 0.0675. Hit Enter. So Social Security tax significantly less, but it's 35.78 of 530. I'm going to copy that formula down to the rest, so I get the Social Security tax for all of the employees, and then net pay. So now they earn. Gross pay is what they earn, then tax is taken out, 2 separate taxes, And then net pay is what they take home. So gross pay minus federal tax minus Social Security tax. So I will do that here. I could put parentheses and do order of operations, but it's kind of simple here, so I'll just take gross pay, do the minus sign on the keyboard, take federal tax and minus Social Security tax as well. So it's gross pay minus federal tax minus Social Security tax, hit enter, and that gives me net pay. Copy that down to the rest, and I've got it for all of the employees. Now, if I wanted to, I want to sort the list by employees, and I think I'll do it by last name. It's a common way to sort, so I'll just click here in the data anywhere and go to the data tab, sort. I'm going to sort by, now it just tells me columns because it doesn't know that I have headings unless I tell it that I do. So I'm going to check this box right here. I could just sort it by column B because I know their last names are in column B, but it might sort those with it if I don't tell it there's headings. So I tell it my data has headings, and then actually it's trying to get the workers in there as well. Let me cancel that. It's confused about what my headings are, so I'm going to specifically select all the data that I want sorted and then go to the sort button. My data does have headings, and so it's not going to include those in the sort. And then when I click sort by, it tells me the headings. So I'm going to sort by last name, and I want it to be A to Z. Click OK, and it sorts all that information. Now they are in order alphabetically. And I think, one more thing, let's put borders again so that we can tell the difference between the columns and the rows. So select everything, go to the Home tab, and all borders should already be selected because that's what we used last time. If not, click the down arrow, go to all borders, and then we have borders around all of our data. And that's it for the fourth assignment.